Welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the recent Bitcoin transaction congestion that went down with over 400,000 transactions that were put on hold because people were trying to get the cheapest fees so that they can get processed, but the fees were just so high. And basically, if you were at a bank and let's say 400,000 people were in line, that's basically what was happening. Your transactions were just not going through. The reason for this is because recently on the Bitcoin blockchain, there has been a way to figure out how to basically get NFTs or inscriptions as small as a Satoshi, which is the smallest unit of Bitcoin. And they're able to get NFTs basically on the Bitcoin network. But in my opinion, I think this is actually very bad for Bitcoin because it just causes a lot of congestion in the network. And it just shows how Bitcoin was not meant for global use of transactions. Now, the argument is that you have the Lightning Network, but the problem with the Lightning Network is the fact that still, once again, it causes more centralization so that the Lightning Network could actually function, and you still have to pay higher fees as transactions increase. So you can see over here that the total amount of fees paid to miners will issue minted coins are not included. You can see that we reached an all-time high actually from compared to the last bull run. We were actually reaching all-time highs of transaction fees without even being in a bull run. So just thinking of this long term, if Bitcoin was to supposedly somehow become that global use of currency for everyday transactions, which I believe it won't because most people actually accept that it's just simply a store of value, you could see that it's going to be a problem. Now, many people started complaining about the transaction fees and saying that we need to somehow build Bitcoin to have cheaper fees and whatnot. And honestly, that's not the right path either because this has been done before. It's called a hard fork. You know, they forked the Bitcoin network and created something like Bitcoin Cash to reduce fees and to make it a little bit faster. But, you know, at what cost? You know, increasing centralization. That's basically what happens. And as you can see, it's just totally done nothing. It has not been successful at all. And it won't be successful at all. Bitcoin is king and Bitcoin will remain the main player in the crypto space. But it needs to be used correctly. And that is simply as a store of value. It just cannot scale. Let's take a look at this tweet over here. It says the Lightning Network is a design of instant settlements that leads to different topography of the network that is not going to work on a worldwide decentralized network with latency due to the light in a fiber optic cable needing 0.13 seconds to circle the equator. The transactions are instant because when you have used the liquidity in the channel, no one else can undo that and use it. The reason Bitcoin works is because you build trust for the transaction over time. Instant decentralization payments are not possible on a worldwide network with latency. So to make it work, you have to do one of these. Centralize with hub and spoke, new design that scraps instant settlement, find a way for data to travel extremely much faster than the speed of light. And that is literally what Kaspa is here to do. It's here to have the same fundamentals of Bitcoin, but still remain true to having that scalability and being able to be fast and still stay true to decentralization. The problem with the whole issue of fees is the fees is what pays the miners. And so before we take a look at this article, let's look at ChatGPT because it's just actually really good to get information and it just summarized things really well. So let's take a read of this. In the Bitcoin network, transactions are processed by decentralized network of nodes that verify and record transactions in a public ledger called the blockchain. Now, obviously, Kaspa is completely different. If you watch my channel, you will know that Kaspa is a block DAG, and because of this, it allows us to scale while still keeping those same fundamentals of Bitcoin. The nodes that perform this task are called miners, and they are rewarded with new Bitcoins for their efforts. To incentivize miners to process transactions and maintain the network, Bitcoin uses a fee system where the users pay a fee to have transactions prioritized and confirmed by the network. The higher the fee, the more likely the transaction would be processed quickly. And this is a problem because for fast transaction times, you need to pay a higher fee. And if we're in a world that this is being used to a global scale, it's just not optimal. People are not going to want to be paying $20, $30, $40 for just simply buying something at the store or something like that. Kaspa solves this greatly with just already being fast to begin with, despite how many transactions are going through. However, as the network has grown and become more popular, the number of transactions waiting to be processed has increased, causing fees to increase as well. This has led to concerns about the scalability of the network, particularly as Bitcoin is intended to be a decentralized system. To address these concerns, some have proposed lowering the fees to encourage more transactions, reduce the load on the network. However, lowering the fees too much could reduce the incentives for miners to process transactions and secure the network, as the rewards would decrease. Therefore, if the fees are lowered significantly, there is risk that the network will become more centralized, as only the largest and most well-funded miners will be able to compete and remain profitable. This could lead to a concentration of power in the hands of a few large players, which goes against the decentralization ethos of Bitcoin. In summary, cheaper fees can lead to more centralization of Bitcoin because it could reduce the incentive for miners to process transactions, which could make it difficult for smaller miners to compete and maintain the network's decentralization. Now, how does Kaspa come into this? Well, Kaspa has the block DAG technology. And with the block DAG technology, we are already really, really fast. If we go over here and take a look at the Nathaniel's article about Kaspa, the solution to Bitcoin, you can see over here that he talks about basically comparing what Bitcoin has and what Kaspa has. As a result of this congestion, there is currently a 16-hour wait time to transact on Bitcoin at the lowest fee. To put this into perspective, it would take 16 hours to include approximately 400,000 transactions on the Bitcoin ledger. Amid this turmoil, Kaspa emerges as an alternative immune to these issues. Kaspa, a blazingly fast, decentralized proof-of-work cryptocurrency, is designed and proven to overcome the scalability and congestion problems that plague Bitcoin. Kaspa's architecture is built to address the limitations of Bitcoin's blockchain technology and focus on network speed. At its core, the Ghost DAG protocol is directed structure that allows for simultaneous processing of multiple blocks. And because of that, currently Kaspa achieves a block time of one block per second, significantly faster than Bitcoin's 10-minute block time. And that's the main issue. Bitcoin has that 10-minute wait time for each block. To put this in perspective, Kaspa processes 60 blocks per minute, 3,600 blocks per hour, and 86,000 blocks per day. In comparison, Bitcoin processes just 6 blocks per hour, 144 blocks per day. On Kaspa, processing the same 400,000 transactions clogging the Bitcoin network would only take 22 minutes. This is the same amount of time for just 2 Bitcoin blocks to be mined, and this is Kaspa's current specs. Once the Rust rewrite is complete, the network can expect up to a 30x boost in network speeds. And that's the thing, we're not even done. Kaspa is not even finished with increasing its speed. And this is what we still need to conquer, is getting that speed up there. And the good thing about this is the fact that since we can do multiple blocks per second after the Rust upgrade, this would cause us to actually eventually reach up to 100 blocks per second. Reaching 100 blocks per second actually keeps the network decentralized because since there's more blocks per second, there's a higher chance for miners to find blocks. So it incentivizes miners to keep mining, and then eventually it will incentivize miners to keep mining to their own node and keep Kaspa highly decentralized. Kaspa is the complete alternative to Bitcoin, the only alternative to Bitcoin, because it is basically the digital silver of the crypto space, and Bitcoin's supposed to be that digital gold. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please consider leaving a like on the video and also subscribing to the channel so you guys can get daily serious education and opinion on Kaspa. Consider getting a Tangent wallet. It's good to buy Bitcoin and Kaspa, but if you're not holding them offline off an exchange, you're putting yourself at great risk. So if you use my code KaspaSilver, you have until May 15th to get a 15% off discount on the Tangent cards. After that, you'll get 10% off. And lastly, I did open up a Patreon. It's $10 a month, and you guys get access to my private Discord group, and you actually get access to a lot of other things, including seeing all these videos first before they go out to public, and other tiers are going to come in the future. So if you guys are interested in that, consider looking into those. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, don't be average, be different.